Alright, I think I'm ready for this Penn State whiteout game. I think I got everything right. What's that? That's not what the game is? That's not that's not what Penn State whiteout means? Oh, then what is it? Oh, well that's lame. Yo! What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Storm the Field with DJ. I am DJ, and today we are here to talk about Week 5 of the college football season. But before we get into any of that, if you guys do enjoy this video or any of my other videos, be sure to smash the like button, hit subscribe. I post almost daily on this channel, all about college football across the country. And yeah, let's get into this video. So the first team I want to talk about, the first matchup I actually want to talk about this week, is the LSU Tigers taking on the Ole Miss Rebels. Now, I do think that this is going to be a very good game. Both teams have been playing pretty well this season. Of course, I believe both teams are undefeated to this point. Last week, Ole Miss did beat Tulane, not a huge win, but a pretty decent win for the Rebels. And last week, LSU, I believe, may have had a bye. But their last prior win was to the Florida Gators, 20-10. Which is looking like not that great of a win anymore. So, obviously, looking at this game, Garrett Nussmeier is going to be a very big player in this game, of course, being LSU's best player probably on the entire team. 962 passing yards on the season. Chambliss may not even be the starter for Ole Miss. He, there was another player who did go in this past week against the against Tulane and really showed off. It was, I believe, no, it was Chambliss. It was another team that had a quarterback with a similar name having that issue. Of course, LSU Durham is a very good running back, 213 rushing yards. Um, Lacey is the leading rusher for the Rebels with 358. Then we have Aaron Anderson, leading receiver for the Tigers, yet to have a receiving touchdown this season, but he has 21 receptions for 293 yards. Also look out for Barry and Brown. He is also a pretty fast receiver on the LSU side of things. For the Rebels on the receiving side, you want to be looking for, if you give me one moment, the game disappeared. You want to be looking for Wallace III, 16 receptions for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns this season. Shanklin, the D end for LSU, currently has 2 sacks in the season. Look out for him on the edge. And Harris, the D tackle for Ole Miss, also 2 sacks on the season. Also look out for him. Look out for Will Weeks, the linebacker, the leader of this LSU defense at the linebacker position, 27 tackles on the season. And look for Yates for Ole Miss, the other linebacker, 29 tackles on the season. Again, both teams have played pretty good games. Last week was pretty easy for both of them. LSU taking on Southeastern Louisiana and Ole Miss taking on Tulane. Ole Miss is actually favored in this matchup over LSU. The spread is 1.5 points. So this is a game that's going to be very interesting. I think LSU will be able to pull it off. I think LSU and Garrett Nussmeier are a very good team. But I could easily see it going the Rebels' way this week. Um, but if I had to choose, I gotta pick the Tigers. Um, this is the second ranked matchup that they are playing, and yet they are not favored. The ESPN matchup predictor has LSU at a 26.7% chance to win, and Ole Miss at a 73.3% chance to win, which is it's very strange. I feel like LSU should have more of a shot. I mean, their money line is even. Well, Ole Miss is only -1 or -120 money line. So I I really don't know what ESPN sees here in their analytics to say that LSU just has over a quarter of a chance to win this game. But yeah, I gotta take the Tigers in this one, and let's get into the next matchup. Now I want to talk about a game that I feel like is flying under a lot of people's radar. The Washington Huskies are taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Of course, Ohio State a favorite in this one. The spread is 8.5 points. Um, they are -320 according to Vegas. ESPN's match predictor has OSU with a 68.8% chance to win, and Washington with a 31.2% chance to win. I mean, looking at some of these stats, obviously, Julian Sayin, 779 yards on the season, 8 touchdowns through the air. Then we have Demond Williams Jr. from Washington, 6 passing touchdowns and 778 passing yards. Then you have Bo Jackson, not Bo Jackson, but Bo Jackson, 18 carries for 217 yards and a touchdown for Ohio State. And then you have Jonah Coleman for the Huskies, 51 carries for 347 yards and 9 touchdowns. Of course, leading the Ohio State receiving, you have Jeremiah Smith, 20 receptions for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. Along with him, you also want to look for uh, Quincy Porter. He has been playing pretty well this season. Uh, you Quincy Porter? No. Uh, Cardinal Tate. That's who I was looking for. He's also been playing pretty well. 12 receptions for 219 yards and 3 touchdowns. Um, Now you want to look at the Washington side of the receiving. You want to look for Denzel Boston. 16 receptions for 249 yards and 3 touchdowns. On the defensive side, you want to be looking for Caden Curry from Ohio State. 2 sacks on the season, 14 total tackles at their defensive end position. For Washington, you want to be looking at Isaiah Ward, 1.5 sacks, 8 tackles on the season at the edge position. For Ohio State, leading tackles, you have Arvell Reese, 2 sacks on the season as well, 20 tackles on his own. And then you want to look for Devin Bryant on Washington, 17 tackles on the season, leading the team. So, I mean, this is flying over people's radars. I feel like most people are expecting a blowout from Ohio State here. I think this will be a closer game. I do think it will still be an Ohio State W, but it's going to be a lot closer than people expect. That's what I think is going to happen in this matchup. I don't think Washington is a bad team by any means this season, so I could definitely see the Huskies pulling off this upset somehow and making the rankings and Ohio State dropping, which would be great as a Miami fan, as that would move Miami probably up to the #1 spot in the country. Now, we have the Southeastern Battle between two of the greatest programs in the past 25 years. We have, of course, Alabama at Georgia. So, this year, we all remember how last year's game went. Alabama really took off in the first half, really looked like it was going to be a blowout towards Alabama, and then Georgia ends up crawling back, and yet it is not enough, and the Crimson Tide take the W. But this season it's different. Alabama obviously led by quarterback Ty Simpson, and Georgia no longer being led by Carson Beck. They are being led by Gunnar Stockton this season. Ty Simpson, 862 yards on the season on 64 completions, 9 touchdowns through the air. Gunnar Stockton, 721 yards on 63 completions and 4 touchdowns. You also, on the ground, Kevin Riley is the leading rusher for Alabama. 23 rush attempts, 420 yards. And he does not have a rushing touchdown yet, though. Looking at Georgia, you want to look at Nate Frazier. Um, 14 rushes for 73 yards, leading the team. Um, on the receiving side of it, you want to be looking for Jeremy Bernard. Jeremy Bernard, 15 receptions for 275 yards and 3 touchdowns. Um, on the Georgia side, you want to be looking for Zachariah Branch. He has 5 receptions for 881 yards and 2 touchdowns. Um, Looking on the Alabama defensive side, LT Overton is going to be the leading sack person for Alabama. 6 tackles and a sack in this season so far, leading the team. You also want to be looking for Chris Cole on Georgia, the linebacker, number 9. 2 sacks in the season and 13 total tackles. On looking for total tackles, you also want to be looking for Deontay Lawson for the Tide. He has 10 total tackles this season. And then you also want to be looking for Raylan Wilson for the Dogs. 23 total tackles on the season, as well as 1 sack from the junior linebacker wearing number 5 on the Georgia defense. Looking at these past matchups for each of these teams, Alabama last played Wisconsin and beat them 38-14, and Georgia last played Tennessee, winning 44-41 in overtime. Both of these were 2 weeks ago. Both have had a bye week in between. Um, this is going to be a very close game. Uh, Georgia is favored in this game. They are at minus 150 to win this game. The spread is 3.5 points, and the over/under is 53.5. Looking at the ESPN match predictor, Georgia has a 54.8% chance to win this game, while Bama has a 45.2% chance to win this game. And I gotta go with the Dogs in this one. I really do think Georgia is a contender once again this year, and I really like what they have been doing, and so I gotta go with the Dogs in this one. And I'm really, really hoping they beat Bama bad. I want to see that ranking off the Crimson Tide. I don't want to see the Tide in the playoff race any longer. But yeah, let's get into the final matchup as the Canes are on a bye week this week. This matchup is also the game of the week. All right. This week, we got the Oregon Ducks facing off in Happy Valley in the whiteout game against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Now, obviously, this is a top 10 matchup, number 6 versus number 3. When this game was played last year, Oregon won it in the Big Ten Championship. Looking at the ESPN matchup predictor, this is quite literally almost a 50-50 game. Oregon with a 48.9% chance to win and PSU with a 51.1% chance to win. Now, Dante Moore leading Oregon in the passing game, 71 for 95 for 962 yards, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception, as well as a good amount of rushing yards on the season for him. He has a decent amount. He had 53 in his last showing against the Beavs. Looking at Penn State, Drew Aller still the quarterback there, 57 of 88 for 626 yards, 4 touchdowns and interception. Penn State's last game was to Villanova 2 weeks ago, so Penn State is coming off a bye. They did beat Villanova 52-6. Drew Aller did play well in that one. Looking at Oregon's leading rusher at the moment, Jalen Lamar, 32 carries for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. But Noah Whittington will also be returning this matchup against the Nittany Lions. Then leading the Nittany Lions, you have Katron Allen, senior, 34 carries for 273 yards and 3 touchdowns. But you also know you have to look out for Nicholas Singleton, 41 carries for 179 yards and 5 touchdowns on the season for Singleton. Looking at the receivers, you want to be looking obviously for Dante Moore on the Oregon side, 49 yards on 4 receptions. Oh, that's against conference opponents. But he has 12 receptions for 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. Um, then you want to be looking for um, Trevor Pena on Penn State, number 8. 13 receptions for 166 yards and a touchdown this season. Other names to look out for Oregon, you want to be looking out for Malik Benson, Gary Bryant Jr., Justice Lowe, Jeremiah McClellan, and of course, you want to be looking for Kenyon Sadiq. For Penn State, um, I don't know as much about the Nittany Lions this year, so I can't really say any other receivers that they have on their side. Leading the teams on sacks for the Ducks, you have Mateo Uyunglele continuing this sack uh, dominance. 7 tackles and 3 sacks on the season for him. Um, then for the Nittany Lions, you want to be looking for Danny Dennis Sutton. Say that 3 times fast. 9 tackles for 2 sacks and 2 forced fumbles on the season. Obviously, also for the Ducks, you want to be looking out for Tuioti and other players such as um, Ashton Porter and Bear Alexander. Obviously, leading the team in tackles for the Ducks, Bryce Betcher, the senior linebacker from Eugene, Oregon, the hometown kid. Obviously, be looking out for him. 27 tackles on the year, as well as 1 interception. And then for the Nittany Lions, you want to be looking for Amari Campbell. 22 tackles and 1 sack on the season. So, my score prediction for this game. This is a tough one. It really is. I If you saw my Ducks season preview, you know what I had at the beginning of the season. And through 4 weeks, it has yet to change. I am taking Penn State in this game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Nittany Lions win it 31-27. Man, it's tough to make these picks, especially a loss. Um, but you gotta try and be as objective as possible in these videos. At least I try and be. I could very much be a fan here and say Oregon is going to win this game in big time. Um, but I am trying to make these picks as if my life depended on them. And if I had to bet my life on this game, I would pick the Nittany Lions. As much it causes me physical pain to make this pick, but the Nittany Lions are not a bad team. They're our top 3 team in the country for a reason. They have an experienced quarterback at the helm in Drew Aller. They have a very talented backfield. They have a very talented O-line to support that backfield. And all over everything. Over everything. This is a game at Beaver Stadium that will be sold out. This will be packed. This is a whiteout game. That environment is going to be very difficult for the Ducks to play in. And so I gotta pick Penn State. It hurts me physically to say it. And before any of you guys comment down below, hey, you're not a true fan, you should always pick your team. Again, I'm trying to be here as objective as possible. I'm not saying that this game is going to be a guaranteed Penn State victory. I can absolutely see the Ducks pulling it off. But I would not bet on it. And It's a sad thing to say, but I think the Ducks see their first loss of the season this week. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sorry to get into a down mood, but yeah. Let me know what you guys think of my picks down below in the comments. Again, if you did enjoy this video, like the video, subscribe. It really does help out a ton, and we can grow this college football community even further. But yeah, I bleed orange and green and yellow, and DJ out. I'll see you all in the next one.